This is just an excerpt from a full episode. If you enjoyed what you hear here, go check out other full episodes, either on YouTube or as part of the podcast feed. Enjoy! On to lack of public welfare news. As most of you know by now, the main sources of a lot of our incomes currently are the various job schemes. There's the Keeper and the Seeker, and they have reached the end of phase 1 of Operation Get Back to Work, as the COVID supplements that have lifted the Jobseeker payment out of poverty wages for the first time, ever, are being slashed. That'll take fortnightly payments for singles to $815 each fortnight, or about $58 a day, keeping it above the dreaded $40 a day stranglehold previously placed on JobKeeper payments by an uncaring and unsympathetic government who sees the government paying poor people a little bit of money to eat as a terrible waste of government resources that could be used to overpay for land to build an airport, line the pocket of their friends, and gaslight the public into thinking it's a good use of public funds. I find it hard to think anyone could reasonably use the phrase bargain to describe overspending by $27 million on anything. Bargains are for savings no higher than $1,000, after which they evolve into a steal, a fucking steal, an investment, a tax write-off, negative gearing, and finally, a bribe. If you're going to pretend to care about people, you can at least learn to speak in their native tongue. While your payments are decreasing, the government is loosening the eligibility for both Jobseeker and youth allowance to allow you to earn a little more money without affecting your payments. Emphasis is on the little. Previously, you could earn $104 per fortnight pre-tax before your payment is affected, a disgustingly low amount of $52 a week. So still, low enough that doing a full season of fruit picking won't impact it. For income levels above $104 but less than $254 per fortnight, your payment will be reduced by 50 cents for every dollar you exceed the threshold. Whereas now, the income-free threshold for both payments will increase to the kingly sum of $300 per fortnight, and you'll lose 60 cents in Jobseeker payments for each dollar that you earn above that threshold. A comparatively reasonable amount of money to allow someone to earn, but it is easy to seem generous when you keep the people hungry at all times. Also changing are asset tests that determine when and if you can access Jobseeker. Asset limits will be reinstated, meaning that you won't be able to access Jobseeker if you have assets worth more than $482,000. If you own a home, that limit drops to $268,000, and the rates are different for couples. But hey, you're in a couple, and one of you can look that up yourselves, you lazy shits. Otherwise, why be in the couple? The liquid assets test is reinstated for new claims, which will require people with savings greater than $5,499 to wait a set period of time before receiving payments. Because how dare you try to have a fallback amount of money or do the exact thing that they tell you should be doing, saving money. If you dare to save money while broke, you will be appropriately punished like all social climbing scum. Stay in your lane. Under the changes, you'll face a reduction of 27 cents to your payment for every dollar your partner earns above $1,165 a fortnight. The change will mean your payments will reduce to zero if your partner earns more than $3,086.11 per fortnight, making it harder to justify being in a legally recognized relationship, especially as Centrelink has been getting pretty nosy with its entry questions, as seen here, asking questions like, do we use the same kitchen, laundry, or bathroom? Who has more than one laundry or kitchen in a house? Do they expect that housemates run on a I brought the appliance in so I'm the only one who can use it arrangement? As they have this handy box that tells me they will determine if I'm in a couple or not. I hope your housemate is okay with the designation Centrelink comes up with for you both. Apparently Services Australia has taken over and nationalised Tinder in an attempt to get people off Jobseeker, whatever it takes. The government has also toughened mutual obligation requirements for people on Jobseeker, meaning you'll have to search for up to 8 jobs each month. Victoria is still currently exempt from mutual obligations due to their little snafu with hotel quarantine. Social Services Minister Anne Ruston said, "In economies and marketplaces where there's good employment, we'll be seeking people to undertake and search for 8 jobs." I do take issue with her use of the terminology of good employment when there are 13 times more people than there are jobs. And as I have told listeners before, my last job application experience was met with a rejection excuse that there were over 600 applicants. Not really a reason for rejection, as it is a cry of tired exasperation and a plea to be left alone. And when an amount of 1 hour a week is the acceptable level of work to be considered employed, I would definitely not call that good employment. Keeping that in mind, job seekers have been required to search for up to 4 jobs each month since early August. You can hear all of the jokes that I made about that in my previous episode, Job Seeking in a Pandemic. So what does this mean for Australia? Well, man trying to make a profit from being on Santa's naughty list and Prime Minister Scott Morrison is desperate to ensure the country is open again by Christmas, presumably so he can receive a free supply of coal to sell while it's still a viable source of income.
This is coal. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared.
And to justify cutting the life-saving job seeker/keeper values and reminding people of his mantra.
The best form of welfare, and it has the obvious answer, is a job.
He seems to think this is the best road to economic recovery, and he should know, because his party is the party of good economic management, who led us strongly and confidently into a recession in a pre-COVID world. So, how is the party that by their own description means a safety net of assurance for all who are disadvantaged by life's chances and effective assistance to rebuild personal independence and control over one's life after unemployment, possibly able to justify changes that will mean cutting the $550 a fortnight coronavirus supplement payment designed to offer a safety net for a series of people disadvantaged by life's chances? The actions have been described by Deloitte as going to harm the economic recovery and decrease both GDP and employment across Australia. And that's coming from Deloitte, a company who has been recently fined £15 million over serious and serial failures in its audits, and that was just from one company. Not to mention that it will cost the equivalent of 145,000 full-time jobs over 2 years, and as we all know, the best form of welfare is destroying the equivalent of 145,000 jobs. Look, that's even more if we do it by the minimum legal definition of a job. Working 1 hour per week, which if I did the maths right should be roughly 5,800,000 equivalent 1 hour a week jobs. The treasurer and man constantly trying to figure out who farted, Josh Frydenberg, has previously confessed that the real rate of unemployment exists between 13 and 14%, not the publicly stated 6.8%. The ACTU further cites findings from the McKell Institute, a progressive institution for research dedicated towards providing innovative solutions for public policy changes, that forecasts with $300 per fortnight being slashed from any single worker's JobKeeper subsidy as of September 28th, the damage to the Australian economy could run as high as $760 million per week, or $1.52 billion, a gap the government couldn't possibly continue to cover. And when asked how Australians on JobKeeper would cover their lost income to do their part to help stimulate the economy, Minister for Families, Social Services and Hypocrisy, Anne Ruston, said JobKeeper recipients who are about to lose money should just go on the dole. That way the government wouldn't have to bear the costs any longer. Ruston said, "We have temporarily put arrangements in place so that our social security safety net is not just for people who have lost their jobs. It is able to provide a cushion for people who have had or fear their hours or income will be reduced. This is in direct contradiction to the usual use, starving people to such a severe degree that they'll accept any crap job. Jobkeeper recipients on $1,200 per fortnight may be eligible for a partial dole payment, lifting their total income to $1,476. People receiving Jobkeeper at the part-time rate of $750 per fortnight could receive another $546 in unemployment benefits, boosting their incomes to $1,295. Remember, that does emphasize maybe and could. Everyone is playing fast and loose with stability and possibility lately. It is, after all, unreasonable that the government should be expected to hold up businesses forever. These people should try getting money from the government instead. Simple.